Hello and welcome to the Agripreneur podcast. And I'm your host, Shenge Michael. The podcast is aimed at talking about agripreneurship, about entrepreneurship, about innovation, and how young people or Africans are trying to engage in agribusinesses that will solve the food system challenges of Africa. And today, we have our guest in the house who will be talking to us on a very serious issue concerning business growth in Africa. Mr. Tom Bande. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Tom is the CEO of Fatherland Agric Company Limited in Makurdi, Benue State, Nigeria. So you're welcome.
Thank you.
How's work been today?
Well, great. We thank God.
It's all right. It's all right. Good. Happy to have you around. All right. So on our topic today, we are going to be focusing today how to prepare your agribusiness for investments. We have seen that many young people want to start businesses, or they have started perhaps, but they have not been able to get investors for a very long time. They have struggled and struggled and struggled. Today we have somebody in the house, an expert, who will talk to us on how to prepare your business to be able to attract investments into your business. And sir, quickly tell us briefly your journey into agribusiness. How do you become an agribusiness person?
Yeah, thank you very much. Agriculture, maybe I don't know whether to say it's by calling or maybe happenstance, but I studied botany at the University of Jos, and even though that's not what I wanted to study, like everybody would say.
Everybody will say that. Yeah.
So, but after I left the university, beyond that, I had always loved entrepreneurship. As a young boy in the junior secondary school, my father, even though he's a civil servant himself, had really struck it very deep inside my mind that entrepreneurship was the path to great impact and then economic freedom. So in those days, I would read books, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I started reading those books in just 3. And my father would buy big business books and read them all through the night before going to his office the following day. And he would pick offense with me if I don't do that. So I caught a vision for entrepreneurship. And then getting to the university, I studied botany. Even though when I left, I was in between. I was construction. But at that time, it was mostly just trying to find some means of survival. It got to a point where I was like, okay, we have to go past survival to impact.
All right.
And I felt the natural place for me to fit in after I had made an assessment of my personality, my giftings, my strengths, the resources at my disposal. I realized that I couldn't do better in place other than in agriculture. So that's what prompted my decision to get into agriculture.
Wow. That's very inspiring. And I can thank your dad for strategically forcing you into loving business at a young age.
I appreciate
that's wonderful. That's inspiring.
Yeah.
So, why is it important for agribusinesses, especially startups, to attract funding? Why is it important?
Of course, the answer to your question is as obvious as it is, because capital, especially financial capital, is the oxygen that gets business running.
That's right.
After you must have had a great idea, put it down on paper, written proposals and all that, or business plans as we call it, you have to translate that to reality. And that's one of the tough calls in entrepreneurship. And there is a lot that one needs to be able to go past the ideation stage into implementation. And if you have the great ideas that have not been made real, will just remain there. Maybe some other person will come across from the other end, pick it up, and then you'll be saying, oh, I'm the one who I had this idea, all this kind of thing.
Yes.
Yeah, so what makes ideas real is financial capital. Of course, capital involves a lot of things, finance,
Yes.
There's technical skills, there's social capital, there are a lot of it, but financial capital, I think, is where your mind is and where the biggest challenge is for agripreneurs around our space.
It's all right. I wanted to ask whether there are other kind of capitals you can think of, and you just mentioned them.
Yeah.
Human capital is there, not just the finances. Yeah, but we know that finances are majorly the issues.
Yeah.
Many of young people who are startups
Yeah.
within the states.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so a lot of entrepreneurs, talk about being investment ready. And we don't seem to still get investors.
Yeah.
So what does it really mean to be investment ready? What does it really mean?
Yeah. So if you have an idea and you've been and like we had already established, you want to make it real,
Yeah,
and you are shorn of resources. There are 1,001 persons and even more out there that have got these resources. But before you can be able to pull in these resources to fund your idea, you must work on yourself.
okay, that's right.
Being investment ready, a business that is investment ready, does not even, I don't see that as even starting with the business first. You have to start, it starts with the personality of the person promoting that business.
That's right.
Yeah, you have to really work on yourself. You have to carry the aura to be able to attract. If you go wrong begging, it will not come. You attract. And like you rightly said, you attract investment, or you don't go begging for investment, you will not get it.
That's right.
Yeah. So the question now is, what do you do to attract investment?
Exactly. Yeah.
And I said the first thing is you need to work on yourself. How do you work on yourself? In the business world, there's a language of business. You have to be able to communicate in that language. Every sector has got their language.
That's right.
So you can't just go walk up to somebody and say, "Oh, my friend, I like you. I have this great idea. Can you give me some money and then I'll pay you something tomorrow?" Yeah, you said something quite all right, but do you really think you had structured that communication in a way that can make that person part with their hard-earned money or whatever resources, even if it's not financial? And again, the before you can attract investment, you also have to you need to have deep knowledge of your business. If I'm talking to somebody to part with some millions to invest in the agribusiness I do, I must be able to get the person to know that, oh, this guy knows this thing. I must wow the person with my presentation. But it even goes beyond that. The other thing, working on yourself, having deep knowledge, industry knowledge, that's the second thing.
Yeah.
And then the other thing, you have to, you have to be, you should have proven your concept. The proof of concept stage is a hard place. That's where you make all the sacrifices by yourself. Investors come in different shades, like different shades of gray, as we always say. So there are some investors who people will not just fund your idea. They are not seeing any tangibles. Yeah, you have a great idea on paper, but what's on paper many times is deviant from what is the reality. So you have to invest in proving your concept. When you prove your concept, then somebody will say, oh, there seems to be some glimmer of hope here. There seems to be some light here. That's when they even start putting in trickles, depending on how you work things out. You know, there are even much more than I have said.
Yeah.
But I've just decided to pick on this one because these are the points that quickly come to mind.
All right.
But I think someone could start from here.
All right.
Yeah.
Right. Very, very important because what you just said translates to that investors will not just give you their money.
No.
They will want to see what you have on ground, right? And so that brings us to another area where I want to talk about the business structure. So what kind of structure do you need to have on ground? For instance, your team and who should be on ground, that kind of structure. Or somebody, a serious investor who wants to look into your books. And then perhaps the area of bookkeeping too. I think that's important too, right?
Yeah.
So what kind of structure do we need to have? What do entrepreneurs, especially agripreneurs, what do you need to have on ground first before they should approach investors?
Yeah. So it's you are even taking the discussion to a higher notch now. So we talked about preparing yourself, being sure of your idea, having been able to prove it, so somebody sees it. And now you are talking about structure. Businesses run on structure. A structure is the vehicle, is the aeroplane that your idea flies on. So if you don't invest in structure, it's going. You may be lucky, oh, some other person may just come along the line and okay, but it's harder if you don't invest in building structure. And this is why entrepreneurship is very hard, because at some point you are thinking of capital, financial capital, and then as you are raising that financial capital, struggling to raise that money, you are also struggling to set up a structure, because every business runs on structure. Structure takes you out of the place and sets up a system, so that even if you are not there, many investors don't want to put money into, you call yourself a business, you say you're running a business, and then everything revolves around you. You are the CEO, you are the accountant, you are the marketer, you do the legal aspects of, of course you can always get somebody, a lawyer, or, to run the legal, offer you legal services. But structure means bringing in the key, personnel, and then setting up processes. When people see this, they're like, okay, yeah, it may not be perfect, oh, but then you just get somebody to see that, okay, there is something happening here. So you cannot overemphasize the importance of having structure. So like, as you are looking for money, you also have to already imagine and figure out what structures you need to put in place. If somebody wants to do inquiries about your business, when we talk about structure, so this is what I understand structure to mean. Somebody wants to make inquiries, figure out what you do in your business, they have to be able to call somebody. Somebody wants to enjoy certain services from your business, they have to be able to call somebody. Somebody wants to make payments, they have to reach out to somebody. So this is the structure now. That's the structure, and much more.
All right. So I don't know. So let's say the key personnel. What key personnel do you need to have? Talking about structures now. I think key personnel, because as a startup, you may not really have money to pay everybody, right? But what are the key personnel you need to have on ground that will give you a solid structure to approach investors?
Yeah. So for a startup, I made this mistake when I started, but I didn't go so far, and then I struggled to get myself back online. I still suffer consequences for not doing a few of these things, but I thank God we are pushing better now. The first mistake was having no records. Some people don't even know how much they paid the lawyer, how much they paid the CAC, how much they rented the office, or even if it was your friend's space you were using, put the value down. All these adds up. You are talking of even attracting investors. All these adds up. That your personal car you were using is part of the capital in the business, but it's not recorded anywhere. The fuel you used to go to Lagos, and the money you spent in doing R&D, all the times you were going to Bayongo market, to Bajimba market, to figure out, okay, which what's the produce that is dominant in this space. What's the kind of variety they grow? What's the quality of the produce? Can I can I do some mop up within this market, supply to a certain some other space and make some money? All this you have to put that cost, factor it in. It's part of your running cost. So if you don't have records, by the time investors come, they like to see, okay, this guy did this, he's registered the company, he's paid taxes to this point. Even if you struggle to pay taxes, there's no problem if you struggle with all these things. But the summary of it all, you must don't think that, hey, well, this is my personal money. It's not much. So let me just keep going. When I get the good money and have an office, then we'll start put stock records. You have to keep records. Very important. You will think that your brain is a lie. You will mix those records up, and it will cost you. Even when these investors come, they like to, when they look at the books, then they understand that, okay, this is the much this person has brought in. That's what gives you strength in bargaining and negotiating with investors as to even what stakes you should concede to them and what you should keep and stuff like that.
Oh, that's very helpful.
Yeah.
It's a very helpful thing, because I wanted to look at key mistakes young people do. We almost spoke about them now.
Yeah.
Exactly. I don't know that any other mistakes you think that young people do, apart from the ones you mentioned. Are there any other mistakes you think of you can figure out now?
Yeah. The other thing is, if you need to have a long-term picture of where you want to get your business to. If you don't define these things early, you struggle. Um, there is no businessman who has really been able to build anything worthwhile alone. But you need to be very, very clear from the onset with your vision. If you have a clear vision, then you can then begin to look out. Um, Looking out in terms of trying to structure yourself in a way that gets somebody who will walk the journey with you. Because entrepreneurship is really, really tough. It's really, really tough. So if you are clear with your vision, then you can begin to look around and say, okay, Mr. X and Mr. Y, how do they pan in with the kind of thing where I'm headed for? Maybe Mr. X will do better than Mr. Y. And then by the time you bring either of them in, you realize that their view aligns with yours, and you will see. So we need to think about this. And then again, a lot of credits to you. When we had uh, the agro startups hangout for Benway that you organized, your organization, you put together, we're talking about collaboration. If there's anything I have a lesson that I picked, even though late, and I think I have tried to correct myself, and I'm happy I did that. But I would like to encourage, especially agripreneurs and every other business person, to pick up is collaboration. I have in my life I had registered previously. I registered 2 companies, and I was happy to be the CEO of a company that was not moving anywhere.
Yes.
You know, but by the time I registered this third company, even before registering the company, I had already known that, Atom, you have to do something that has got a regional spread, a national spread, and a global outlook. So I quickly was thinking so hard and praying and structuring myself to try to get people in who will give me some boost, bolster me to push the vision. So I think it's very, very important. Let's forget the idea of running it alone. Let's look strongly in the direction of collaboration. It makes you good. It gives you you're better off.
I wanted to talk about that collaboration as one of our next areas of
Yeah.
yeah, because yeah, I may have the idea, but I may not know who the funders are from, you know. So I think collaboration can help, will help a lot
Yeah.
in that regard. A lot in that regard. So about Fatherland. What about Fatherland? How were you able to scale up?
Yeah. So we Fatherland um uh, we started in 2021. 2021 by 2026 January will be exactly 5 years. So it was more like some New Year resolution that time. As we were working out of 2020 and stepping into 2021, we had decided that okay, this was the next challenge we were going to take up, and it was tough. 5 years of almost feeling like there's fire running in your bones, and I think that dedication and consistency helped to send the waves into the spaces. Uh, my co-founder, he was on social media. We had known ourselves, but he was on social media. And while he was even coming in, I had already clearly known my strengths. I know what I am good at. He knows what he is good at. Brings the balance. And I think for me, that's one of the key foundations for how much we have been able to scale and are still scaling. Yeah. I think that's
Oh, that's really wonderful. Getting to know your strengths and the strengths of your partners.
Yeah.
Person coming in. So let's talk briefly about choosing your co-founders for a business.
Yeah.
Um, how do you, because you were lucky to meet somebody on Facebook. All right, so how do other young persons get their co-founders? How do they choose? How do you think it's possible? How do they choose?
Yeah. It's there is no one fits all approach here. Decision making generally it's it's complex. Taking the decision to move from here to North Bank may be like, okay, you can sit in the room and say, I want to go to North Bank. But if you step out of here, you may need to pick a bike, you may need to board a bus, you may need to call a friend to give you a lift or stuff like that. So decision making, just like with every other thing in life, is quite complex. But um, there are key indicators or considerations that one should look at in picking somebody. I'm a Christian. The Bible says we should not be unequally yoked. You have to really look closely and be able to sift and figure out that, okay, this person I'm considering has over time has had a trajectory of somebody who has got focus, somebody who is also passionate in what I am passionate in. It starts from there. And then you have to also see that because only passion alone will not build any business. So passion has never built any business. In fact, there are so many great ideas, greater than the ones that have been implemented, that were never implemented because the people only had passion. So you need to be able to figure out, sift through and size up and check the persons you think have got that capacity. They are gifted in ways you are not gifted. They complement you. If you and your partner or the person you are considering have the same temperament, it may not work. If you and the person are not disciplined in finance, if you and the person, if it is in agribusiness, maybe the both of you are not strong in operations, it won't work. Agriculture is a very practical endeavor. You cannot stay in UK and be farming in Bajimba. It will not work. You cannot watch YouTube videos and be teaching somebody who is in the. It will not work. You can read all the. You cannot. You can study in the best universities in the UK, in the US, and in Canada. But the practical realities trumps all those.
Right?
So talking about, okay, how do you find somebody who, a partner? Look at somebody who has got complementary values or giftings or graces or virtues, so that you two can align.
Right.
Makes it so you have to look at that very carefully. You have challenge with resources, your background. You have to be very honest in assessing yourself. If you come from a background that has got no contacts to move the big money, and you are saying you want to be CEO, you will never be CEO. It will not work. You can pray and do all the vigils, but God, in the course of that prayer, will only be telling you, get wisdom to make contacts.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay, so and it's very interesting.
Yeah.
It's very, because that's one of the hardest parts.
Yeah, really hard. Really hard.
Many young people make wrong, terrible mistakes, choosing who their partners are, and then that can crumble your business completely. And like you said, every business is different from every other business.
Yeah.
Agriculture is a different kind of business and must be done differently. So talking about partnership, I still want us to go back to the area of funding a little bit.
Yeah.
It's hard getting partner with you or you in every business.
Yeah.
Is it that hard getting people who should invest in your business? Is it the same? Is it hard? Do people not invest in agriculture at all with your experience?
So in agriculture, it's hard to get partners, and it's also hard to get investors. And it's not even hard to figure this out. Look around the commercial banks, look around even the government. Excuse me. It's you will see that lending in the agro sector is a tough nut to crack. So many good programs and all those stuff. I don't want to get to making it like you are trying to hit at and criticize and all that, but getting investors and getting partners is really, really hard. And it's that way again because Agric is a very high risk business, and then agriculture is agribusiness is one that is notoriously high, has a notoriously high capital requirement. It's very, very high and crazy. Yeah. And then again, the layover period in agriculture. So if you are talking about tech or other services in the services sector, yeah, you can put in money and then it's there after a short time window, you can roll it over. But for agriculture, you can put in for 5 years and you are still waiting.
You're still within.
Nobody wants to wait for that long.
It's all right.
Yeah.
Well, that's wonderful. All right. So we've covered some ground today.
Yeah.
A lot of ground today, and it's been very, very insightful listening to you speak on these issues. And just want to ask again, what advice would you give to young entrepreneurs who dream of scaling their ventures through investments?
Yeah, maybe going back to still saying a few quick things on what I'd already said. You want to scale through investments. You just need to really show that you know this is your business. You need to talk like you know it. It's not, and you need to, there should be empirical evidence. When people hear what is real, they know. And then again, don't talk to investors or partners from your own end. Put yourself in their shoes. If I were an investor, what will I be thinking? How will I be thinking? The very most and first and most important thing I think investors like is first the security of their investment. And for an investor to be safe that you will keep their money, they need to know that number one, you're not going to use it to buy soup in your house. Yes. They don't like hearing that. And then you are putting in all the energy in the vision. These things build confidence in investors. Tell them things straight. Don't refuse to pick their calls. Structure your life so there's no pressure and you can't run away. Be frank and straight. They will respect you. They may even try to press down on you, but when they see that no, this guy knows the stuff is made of, they respect you. They will sleep in their room and in their mind they know they respect you.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Tom, for joining us today.
Thank you.
We're really grateful to have you here with us.
Thank you
and
very
to all our listeners, we
Yeah.
want to thank you for joining us today.
Yeah.
This is the Agripreneur podcast, and we invite you to share this video to your friends who are agriculturists. Let them know that the business of agriculture is one business they should be very, very careful about, and they should be very, very diligent about.
Yeah.
Thank you. See you next episode.